You're watching Eagle News International, Australia, Oceania. I'm Justine Vicente reporting from Sydney, bringing you the latest stories from Australia, New Zealand and Papua New Guinea. Here are today's headlines. Australia reinstates restrictions as COVID-19 surges again. Filipino-owned fast food serves Phil-Am dishes to Aussies. Be positive in times of pandemic. Philippine Embassy and Polo reaches out to OFWs in New Zealand amid worries of another COVID-19 outbreak. Church of Christ in New Zealand conducts its first ever online choral competition. Church of Christ in Papua New Guinea extends help to those affected by pandemic. To kick off, allow us to present to you the COVID-19 statistics across the three countries as of last week. Australia has so far recorded more than 22,000 cases with an average of 360 daily cases, of which most are coming from the states of Victoria and New South Wales. Later on, our correspondent Diego Madronio has more on this story. In New Zealand, the virus is breaking out again, as 4 new cases are seen on the 12th of August after 102 days of being pandemic-free. Meanwhile, Papua New Guinea has over 193 active cases as of last week. Now for our first story. Australia, particularly in the state of Victoria, faces increasing COVID-19 cases. In response, the state has reinstated Stage 4 restrictions. Eagle News correspondent Diego Madronio from Queensland, Australia reports.
Australia has been more successful than many other countries in tackling COVID-19, but starting from the end of July, the Australian state of Victoria was declared a state of disaster and imposed new lockdown measures after a surge in coronavirus infections. Victoria reported increasing numbers of people who have acquired the coronavirus locally in the span of a week. There had been 3,700 cases reported, and approximately 7% had been admitted to the hospital. Because of this, the state of Victoria reached Stage 4 restrictions, including curfews, further travel safety measures, including restricted access to the state of Queensland. Stage 4 of restrictions included the borders closing off specifically from those traveling from Victoria. They were only allowed in if they were residents or had exemptions. This led to an outbreak of travelers committing fraud to cross the borders. A group of people have been fined a total of more than $2,400 after lying on border declaration forms while trying to enter Queensland.
To be honest, when it was first starting, it was a little bit scary, especially when you're serving customers and there's cases in the center, and when customers coughing and just doing all that kind of stuff, it makes you a bit nervous because you can't really go anywhere, right? You have to stay in work and do stuff. So there is a bit, as it kind of calmed down a bit now, it's not as bad, but still it kind of crosses your mind every now and then. So there's definitely that factor there, I'd say.
I think there is a bit of anxiety going on because me being in retail, we've noticed since the outbreak here in the shopping centre, a lot of people now are, withdrawing from coming here because of that one incident. So I think there is a lot of anxiety out there in
thoughts. It is a little scary, I would say, just because I feel like with the second wave, there's so many more cases than the first, and you just don't know anymore. It's hard to go out, just because you never know, you could get the virus in 2 seconds.
The state of New South Wales is now on high alert as the death toll has risen to 53 deaths, with a confirmed number of 18 new infections as of last week. Unfortunately, the staff members and frontliners are starting to get infected too. The total of recorded deaths from the virus Australia-wide now stands at 361. For now, people entering the state must go into government-provided quarantine for 14 days. Unfortunately, some state and territory borders could be closed well into 2022. We hope that by implementing these measures, we can unite as a country and beat this virus. From Gold Coast, Australia, Diego Madronio for Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Thank you, Diego. Australians are being given a taste of Filipino-American cuisine by a restaurant proudly owned by our kababayan. Let's hear Mate Burger's recipe for success and how it adjusts with COVID-19 looming around from Sydney's Carla Cruz. Carla?
There's another fast food player in town. Say a big g'day to Mate Burger. This Western Sydney-based small business is the brainchild of Henry Faraan, an ex-financial planner who decided to take a leap of faith and swap his suit for an apron, taking inspiration from his travels in America and Pinoy heritage.
Financial planning into hospitality because I love cooking. I love to share our food, especially our cuisine, like Filipino cuisine, to the vast majority of Australia.
Since 2016, Mate Burger has been introducing Filipino and American-style fusion cooking to the hungry masses, starting with burgers and fries, and now serving rice bowls.
We have evolved because a lot of our customers are asking for more in a menu. So we have the rice bowl, such as the lechon rice bowl, the Filipino fried chicken rice bowl, and the latest addition is the sisig rice bowl, which is quite very popular to our customers.
Being in the hospitality industry, Mate Burger was quick to adapt to the constantly changing COVID-19 restrictions.
So we put in place the restriction. You have the social distancing. You have the maximum people in the shop. We also have the sanitation station as well. So before people can enter, they have to sanitize their hands, and also they have to register the name as well, just for tracing purposes. So if something happens, we can contact those customers and inform them of the situation.
It has also been one of many community organizations that have helped our student kababayans during this pandemic.
There's a lot of students from the Philippines who are heavily impacted by this COVID. They have lost their jobs, they have lost their source of income, and unfortunately there's also an ongoing expense for them, such as rent, food, daily needs. So we're able to help them out by providing them a free meal. We've done it for 4 weeks, every Tuesday of the week. So we're distributing meals to those students that are heavily impacted.
Henry's journey with Mate Burger is proof that a lot of hard work, faith, and tasty food is a good recipe for success.
So by sharing our food to everyone, we are actually putting the Philippines or the Philippine cuisine out there in the map. So by having the restaurant, the food trucks, we are putting the food up there to everyone to enjoy, and also most importantly to enjoy with their mates.
So if you're looking for a new place to try, why don't you check out Mate Burger? Tell them your mate Carla sent you. Reporting from Sydney, Australia, Carla Cruz, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Carla. I'm sure your story sparked our viewers' cravings. Have you ever wondered how people across the globe are letting time pass while they're still in lockdown? Here are Ian Lenena, Samantha DeMillo and Ria David, our reporters from Sydney, to give you a glimpse.
Welcome. Today we will share 3 activities that you can do during this pandemic.
With these activities, we hope to inspire you to keep positive mentally and emotionally.
So keep watching and enjoy.
So to be positive during this pandemic, what I did is I started painting. Here are reasons and benefits why I started painting during this pandemic. It promotes stress relief, it expands your creative growth, it enhances your problem solving and motor skills, it stimulates an optimistic attitude. Now, why is painting allowing me to overcome this pandemic? Painting allows me to divert my creative energy and ideas into a more fun and colorful way. It also allows me to explore something more creative, something more abstract, or something simple and plain, yet I am able to enjoy different designs, different decorations, and a different image. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this painting activity. Now let's listen to what Ria has to share.
So today I'll be showing you how to make scones. This is just a recipe from a box. I'm not too confident in my baking skills yet. This recipe just requires you to add some milk to it. I was actually in senior year of high school when I wanted to learn how to bake, but I was in the middle of transitioning into university and I also picked up a job, so it didn't really allow me some time to learn how to bake and have that free time to just enjoy it. But now during lockdown, it's been a positive thing for me to just keep busy and have a sense of routine, which is what we need during these uncertain times. I really recommend anyone who's looking to pick up a hobby during lockdown to try baking. It's such a fun experience. You can do it with your family members as well. This is what I've been doing to do my part to keep safe and everyone in the community safe, and you can always have fun in lockdown.
Thanks, Ria. That looks really yummy. Today we're gonna be showing you what the things I've been doing during quarantine, and early this month I started to garden. So here is one of the examples. So this is a radish that's ready to be harvested. I also planted a guava tree, lettuce, carrots, but this is what we're gonna harvest today because it's already ready to go. So we're just gonna get our shovel here. And radishes you can use for a number of things. You can use it in salads, in soups, and anything really. Oh, bit of a mess, but that's okay. And that's the look of it. We do have a little bit more here, so these are all ready to go. But yeah. And reason why I got into the whole planting aspect is because I just really wanted to try something new and try all these different hobbies, and I found it quite relaxing in planting these things, and I learned to say 10 positive things to it every day so that it would grow, and I think I did well. If you want to try out a new hobby, gardening is the way to go.
We hope you enjoyed these 3 activities you can do during this pandemic.
Remember to always keep safe and to always follow the COVID-19 regulations.
Let's all be positively active during this pandemic. From Sydney, Australia, Ian Lanetta,
Ria May David,
Samantha DeMillo,
Eagle News. We are living in interesting times.
Thank you, Ian, Sam, and Ria for giving us some pointers on how to make our days productive and interesting. After the break, we'll hear how the Filipino community in New Zealand responds to another COVID-19 outbreak. We also have a feature on an online choral competition. Then we'll be inspired by a story of a church reaching out to pandemic victims in Papua New Guinea. Stay tuned. Eagle News International continues after this.
The New Era University, in its 45th year of excellence, discipline, and service to humanity, will offer online education at all levels beginning this first semester academic year 2020 to 2021 through the NEU Virtual Learning Environment, or NEU VLE. New Era University offers a complete basic education cycle from kindergarten up to senior high school, offering all strands. NEU has 18 colleges, and 2 graduate schools. It also offers ALS and ETF. Best of all, NEU has the most affordable tuition fees among private universities in the Philippines. NEU is at Quezon City, the city of San Fernando, Pampanga, General Santos City, South Cotabato, Lipa City, Batangas, and Pinugay, Baras, Rizal.
New Era University is under the stewardship of Dr. Nilo L. Rosas.
What are you waiting for? Be part of the new normal. Enroll now. Classes start on October 5, 2020.
Welcome back. I am Justine Vicente and you're watching Eagle News International Australia Oceania. Bayanihan spirit is felt in the Filipino community in New Zealand as the Embassy and the Philippine Overseas Labour Office or POLO reach out to OFWs amid worries of another COVID-19 community outbreak. Greg Bessa, our New Zealand correspondent, has the details. Greg?
As the government intensifies its efforts to prevent or contain any possible community outbreak of COVID-19 in New Zealand, the Philippine Embassy and the Philippine Overseas Labour Office have been reaching out to hundreds of overseas Filipino workers in different parts of the country. As the economic impact of lockdown and the continuing threat of coronavirus have resulted to thousands of job displacements in New Zealand, the Philippine Embassy and the Philippine Overseas Labour Office are visiting different places in the country to conduct meetings and consultations with the Filipino migrant workers. Other than knowing their well-being and employment status, the Philippine Embassy and POLO, with partnership of Filipino community organizations, are also distributing food parcels to the workers. After visiting 6 cities, Philippine Ambassador Jesus Domingo and Labor Attaché Angel Burha Jr. met the overseas Filipino workers in Para-Para-Umo, Cavite Coast, Wellington region to know firsthand their conditions, answer any of their queries, and even update them on the Philippine government efforts in helping the migrant workers abroad, especially those being adversely affected by the pandemic. Much as Ambassador Domingo and Labor Attaché Burha Jr. emphasized the importance of visiting and meeting with the Filipino workers as a manifestation of the Philippine government's concern for them, the employer who was kind enough to host the gathering expressed his appreciation to the Filipino diplomatic officials for reaching out to the workers.
We're here to distribute food packs to our kababayan. Itong ang outreach natin sa mga OFWs here in New Zealand who have been facing difficulties because of the COVID-19 situation.
Here in New Zealand, we are doing this as part of the worksite visitations that the Embassy and POLO jointly conducts for purposes of making the workers, our workers, feel that they're never forgotten by our government. In fact, our government, even in this very difficult situation, continues to reach out and care for our Filipino workers who are most important in our country's economy.
You guys being able to reach out to our guys here today, we really, as I mentioned earlier, we really appreciate what our guys do. They work very hard. They work long hours, and they always do it with a smile on their face. They're always very, very respectful, and we appreciate that. They're great people, and we've got lots of work for them going forward. So thanks again for coming.
After the meeting and consultation, Marcelo Esperas of the Knights of Rizal Wellington chapter assisted the Philippine Ambassador and Labor Attaché, along with the management of the Personal Touch Limited, in distributing food parcels to the workers who were grateful upon receiving such.
Kami po ay lubos na nagpapasalamat sa ating ambassador nandito sa New Zealand na gumagabay sa amin at tumutulong sa bawat isa sa amin. Nagpapasalamat po din po ang bawat isa sa amin sa ating labor attaché na gumagabay sa bawat pangangailangan ng bawat isang Pilipino dito sa New Zealand.
Maraming salamat po sa ating Philippine Ambassador sa inyong pagbisita at sa ating labor attaché dito po. At sa kunting ayuda na amin natanggap, maraming salamat po sa inyo.
Aside from visiting the overseas Filipino workers across the country, the Philippine Embassy is also facilitating the repatriation flight of Filipino nationals who were affected by the closure of New Zealand border. On 24th July of this year, 255 Filipinos availed the second repatriation flight to the Philippines, including those workers who were laid off from their jobs as their companies suffered substantial losses due to the COVID-19 pandemic. From Para-Para-Umo, Cavite Coast, New Zealand, this is Greg Bessa. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Greg. It's comforting to know that our fellow Filipinos are well taken care of even if they're miles away from home. COVID-19 restrictions did not hinder a choral competition sponsored by the Church of Christ in New Zealand as activity goes online. To know more about this news, we'll hear again from Greg.
Despite the deepening economic and social impact caused by months of lockdown and the continuing threat of COVID-19 pandemic in New Zealand, members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ have found a meaningful way to celebrate the 106th anniversary of the church. As the COVID-19 pandemic is continually wreaking havoc in the economies of many countries and is resulting to the death of thousands of people around the world, it did not hinder the entirety of the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ to celebrate its 106th anniversary on 27th of July of this year. On the part of the members of the church in New Zealand, they utilized the modern telecommunication technology to hold their first ever virtual choral competition entitled Songs of Salvation. Pre-recorded musical performances from congregations around the country were live-streamed through the Webex social platform to the members of the church who were delighted to watch such historic online musical competition from their respective households. As if they were performing live in front of thousands of spectators, participating choral groups were all dressed up, wore personal protective equipment, and even observed social distancing in accordance to the contest guidelines. They rendered their musical entries with conviction, which conveyed the messages of love, hope, and faith the members of the church are firmly believing into and are serving as inspiration for them to go on amid the surging of the deadly virus across the globe. Much as members of the church were united in celebrating the anniversary, they manifested once more the gratitude to the church administration for allowing them to hold the virtual choral competition.
We continue to give thanks to our Almighty God and to our Lord Jesus Christ and express our profound gratitude to our Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, and to the overall coordinator of the Christian Family Organizations, Brother Angelo Eranio V. Manalo, for giving us this great opportunity to have this momentous and historical event dubbed as Songs of Salvation Choral Competition online.
From Wainumarta, Hutt Valley, Wellington Region, New Zealand, this is Greg Bessa. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Greg. As we've seen worldwide, the impact of the coronavirus outbreak is not only on people's health. The restrictions put in place as an attempt to mitigate the spread has significantly affected many both economically and financially. A church in Papua New Guinea is extending aid to those whose livelihoods are affected by this crisis. Papua New Guinea correspondent Eko Hoteleza Kinola has the story.
Helping the impoverished people affected by this global crisis is one of the main concerns of the Iglesia Ni Cristo members.
The Iglesia Ni Cristo members in Port Moresby, Australia West District, did an Aid to Humanity program to help the government of Papua New Guinea from the rapid increase of coronavirus cases. This church shows concern to the people not just by enriching their spiritual welfare, but also by attending to their basic needs in this time of pandemic. The distribution of food parcels was led by Minister Regino Manangan Jr., and a well-observed wearing of mask and social distancing was seen in this event.
Ayos po at payapang naisagawa, may tagumpay na naisagawa ang ginawang pamamahayag. Naibahagi din po ang lingap sa mga panauhin namin na totoong kailangan nila lalo na sa panahon ngayon ng pandemya.
What I think about the Iglesia Ni Cristo, so helpful in the teaching and so helpful when time of pandemics and all crisis and whatnot in every country, and it's so helpful to all. Thankful for the food package. I'm so grateful. Yeah, thank you so much.
The Iglesia Ni Cristo members believe that extending help via Aid for Humanity program may seem like a small gesture, but a big positive impact of helping is one of the best ways to be of service to them. The activity somehow brought hope and joy to these people who are suffering fear, hardship, and sickness brought by our global enemy, coronavirus. Reporting from Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea, this is Echo Hortaleza Quinola. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Echo. Those inspiring stories are really what we need in these times. Thank you for joining us in this episode of Eagle News International, Australia, Oceania. See you again next time as we bring you stories that matter to you from our viewers across the Australia-Oceania region. Don't forget to visit our websites at eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. And follow us on twitter.com/eaglenews and on facebook.com/eaglenews. Thank you for watching. I am Justine Vicente, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
The biggest and widest talent competition in Philippine television continues with over 7 million pesos in cash prizes. Tagisan ng Galing Part 2. 3 winners will be chosen in each category. Singing category, second runner-up will receive 500,000 pesos. First runner-up will receive 1 million pesos. And for the grand champion, 2 million pesos. Dance category, second runner-up will receive 500,000 pesos. First runner-up will receive 1 million pesos. And for the grand champion, 2 million pesos. Audition now. Send your 3-minute performance video to tagisananggaling@gmail.com. For inquiries, call Nikki at 0977-651-9504 or 8784-7450, local 1363. Shane at 0995-880-8004 or 8784-7450, local 141.